The year is 1885, and Kings Park Psychiatric Center opens with the hopes of solving New York City's overcrowding asylum problem. Originally depicted as a farm colony, patients were encouraged to take up a number of farm-related activities as a form of therapy, like raising crops and tending to livestock. As the population rose, Kings Park succumbed to the very thing it was trying to prevent: overcrowding. With the expansion of the area and the need for more space, Kings Park grew up rather than out. Behind me is Building 93, the most iconic structure here. The construction of Building 93 marked a change in the hospital's philosophy. What was once known as a farm colony evolved into the scary high-rise asylum that we see portrayed in the media today. Although Kings Park was notable for being at the forefront of the ever-changing field of psychological science, they struggled with how to care for the growing number of mentally ill patients. Kings Park was among the first of many to try two of the most brutal procedures: electroshock therapy and pre-frontal lobotomies.
Electroshock therapy was sold as a cure for many neurological illnesses. Patients would be strapped to their beds, forced to convulse for periods of time in matters so forceful that could only result in bone breakage. And one of the more monstrous operations performed were pre-frontal lobotomies, an invasive procedure rendering patients who were once violent utterly complacent, leaving them easily influenced by staff. Across the pond in the 50s, a French pharmaceutical company began developing what we know today as Thorazine, one of the reasons why Kings Park disbanded. Used to treat schizophrenia, mania, and other psychotic disorders, this medication made it possible for patients to lead normal lives.
Yet everything that goes up must come down, and Kings Park began a steady decline into closing. By the early 90s, the nation was swept with deinstitutionalization, and Kings Park's 111-year run came to an end. The remaining patients were either discharged or transferred to smaller Long Island asylums. One of the most overlooked places when it comes to Kings Park is the mass grave located on its western side.
Biggest worry when a place closes, and we've talked about this over the last couple of years, is what's going to happen to the cemeteries.
Many patients without families to claim their bodies post-mortem were buried here. Only one plaque marks the final resting place of those who were buried, placed sometime in the early 2000s.
To this day, the grounds are open to the public as a state park to New Yorkers, urban explorers, and historians alike. However, entering the facilities that were once home to a population of over 9,000 patients and staff is not to be taken lightly, as there are many signs around each building warning that trespassers will be prosecuted. As the years go by, Kings Park stands as a reminder of the times. It is likely that this area will stay open as a state park for all, but the future of these buildings is unknown. Pottersfield Cemetery will remain as a tribute to those who lost their lives. So while we enjoy the thrill of exploring abandoned places today, one should remember the stigma of mental illness in the history of American institutions.